You know, I never thought flying the American flag on my front porch would turn me into the center of a political wildfire. But here we are. My name's Ben Hargrove. I'm a retired Army Staff Sergeant. 2 tours overseas. Bronze Star. Honorable discharge. I moved to a quiet, cookie-cutter neighborhood in the suburbs of Maple Ridge, just outside Denver, hoping for some peace. Maybe a few cookouts and absolutely zero drama. That peace lasted exactly 24 hours after Memorial Day. I was sipping my morning coffee when I noticed a crisp little envelope slipped under my door. HOA violation, notice font, so fancy it practically wore pearls. It claimed my unauthorized exterior display, aka the American flag, hanging on my porch, was disruptive to the community's visual unity. I literally laughed out loud. I thought it was a prank, a joke. I mean, who fines someone for being patriotic? The day after Memorial Day. But it wasn't a joke. It was Veronica Fields. Veronica was the vice president of the HOA. But in reality, she was the neighborhood's self-appointed aesthetic overlord. The kind of woman who trims her hedges with a laser level, and once reported a neighbor for planting non-uniform tulips. She showed up at my door later that morning with a tight bun, tighter lips, and a binder full of HOA rules, clutched like it held the Constitution. She took one look at my flag, sniffed, and said, "This isn't Arlington. Cemetery, Mr. Hargrove. We don't fly flags here." I blinked, ma'am. I said calmly. I served under that flag. I bled under that flag. And I plan to keep flying it. She didn't flinch. Then you'll be fined $200 a day until it's removed. That's when I realized this wasn't about a flag. It was about control. And the real kicker, Veronica, wasn't acting alone. Turns out, she had a little circle of HOA loyalists, a secret cabal of compliance crusaders who had been quietly reshaping the neighborhood, one petty violation at a time. Front yard gnomes, gone decorative mailboxes, banned, and now flags. Apparently anything that gave a home personality was a threat to her beige empire. Over the next week, I got 3 more violation letters, each one bolder than the last. And one day, I came home to find her in my yard with a measuring tape, measuring the shadow of my flag. I kid you not. She started emailing me phrases like, "Your refusal to conform threatens the aesthetic cohesion of our community. We live in a neighborhood where the biggest design choice is tan versus slightly darker tan. The only cohesion we had was mutual boredom." But Veronica didn't want peace. She wanted obedience. When I tried reasoning with her, offered to come to the next HOA meeting, she shot me down. "This isn't a debate," she said, "it's enforcement." Then she took it up a notch. She pushed a new amendment through the HOA board without telling residents to ban all exterior displays not pre-approved by her committee. It passed by 1 vote, and I found out later she had lobbied behind closed doors, promised discounts on dues, and even threatened to delay someone's garage expansion if they didn't vote her way. This wasn't an HOA. It was a dictatorship disguised in khaki and clipboard chic. But here's where things start to shift. A local journalist, Alex Ruiz, who had covered my homecoming ceremony years ago, got wind of the situation. He called me up, half laughing, half outraged. Is it true you're being fined for flying the American flag? I told him it was real, and he asked if I'd be willing to talk about it on camera. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Just in time for peak dog walking traffic. Alex rolls up with his news van and camera crew, and wouldn't you know it, Veronica is already doing her usual patrol, clipboard in hand, heels clicking like judgmental castanets. She froze when she saw the camera. "You can't film here without HOA approval," she snapped. Alex smiled. Deadpan. "Actually, he owns the property. He gave us permission." She turned beet red. "This man is violating community standards." I looked at the camera and said, "I'm a veteran who served 2 tours overseas. The only thing I'm violating is her fragile sense of control." That clip aired that night, and it exploded. Overnight neighbors who had never even made eye contact with me started showing up with pies, thank you cards, chalk art on my sidewalk. Kids drew flags. One guy brought a Bluetooth speaker and played Lee Greenwood. Veronica panicked, called an emergency HOA board meeting to ban all media presence in the neighborhood. Except someone recorded it, and in the video, you can clearly hear her say, "We need to shut this down before more people think they can just express themselves around here." That gem went viral, and it didn't stop there. A retired cybersecurity analyst, Trina from 2 doors down, dug into the HOA's internal emails. What she found, Veronica had been calling residents aesthetic low-tier pests and visually illiterate. She'd been giving special treatment to homes that aligned with her taste and punishing others with fake citations. She even pressured vendors to skip service to houses she didn't like. But the cherry on top, she was skimming HOA funds over $18,000 in enforcement allocations redirected to a landscaping company owned by her brother, who hadn't even touched a single bush in the neighborhood. Trina posted the receipts, literally annotated spreadsheets, highlighted transfers. The HOA Facebook group went thermonuclear, and that's when Veronica made her biggest mistake. She tried to sue me, claimed I defamed her, damaged her reputation, and caused emotional distress, but her lawsuit triggered a deeper audit where they discovered even more: a shady consulting deal with a developer to rezone part of our park for luxury condos, secret payments to her private LLC, forged letters of approval, bribery, fraud, obstruction. She was arrested outside a Pilates studio in pastel activewear and sunglasses the size of dinner plates. I've never seen a mugshot look so offended. The trial was swift, guilty on all counts. Probation community service at a local veterans center, full restitution, and monthly updates to the HOA in a column now called Reparations from a Former President. First photo: Veronica in a bright orange vest, picking up trash under the very flag she once tried to tear down. But the story doesn't end with her arrest. The neighborhood rewrote the bylaws from scratch. We added transparency protection of expression and a new clause that bans anyone who abuses HOA power from ever holding office again. We call it the Veronica Clause. And yeah, the community elected me as the new HOA president. My first act: rename the newsletter. It's no longer the community standard. It's now the Front Porch Dispatch. And right there, on page 1, a picture of the new flagpole, permanently installed in the neighborhood park. At the base, a plaque that reads, "Let this flag wave as a reminder that power without principle is just noise. But courage echoes forever." So now I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced HOA overreach? Do you believe HOA rules have gone too far? Or are they sometimes necessary? And if you lived here, would you have stood up or stayed silent? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your story. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that freedom doesn't always wear a uniform. Sometimes it just needs a front porch, a flag, and someone willing to say, "No, not today."